Hey guys, we got a pretty night. I mean, it's a little cold, but it's not too bad. Not just a little light little zipper hoodie, green hoodie. I'm in green hoodie tonight. It's green. It's green. It's green. The Hulk power. Uh, hey guys, a little something different tonight. I did a little rundown on a case that I've been kind of watching and not really saying too much on yet because of I kind of waited for a little bit of maybe some truth to come out in this case. It's the Stefanie Damron. Y'all remember that case? It was a family that lived in Texas and then they moved up to New Sweden, Maine, on the Canada border, about 20 miles from the Canada border, about a mile from the main road, about 3 miles from the town of population 577. Um, if you're not familiar, you'll see her face on this clip here. And FBI, Special Crimes Unit, all this, the card team, FBI card team that handles with abductions and things in children, but nothing's off the table. This is another Sebastian Rogers case, I believe, guys. I hate to say that, but this is my opinion, guys. Allegedly, these are my theories. What I'm about to tell you is my theories, what I think happened in this case. And it's all alleged. Some of it's fact, what I'm going to read that's put out by the mother and the father and the FBI. Those are facts. That's what they put out, right? So we have to assume that they're facts, although some of the facts don't add up, similar to the Sebastian Rogers case, and you'll see when we get into it. She was 13 when she went missing. She's 14 now. I'm sure a lot of y'all are probably, I've done a few videos on it when she first went missing, and there's been not much at all. I mean, literally way tight-lipped, which is a good thing in a way, but she's still not found. And now we're learning that the father has stopped searches and now wants search warrants if they're going to search his land. It's a missing child. But that's not the biggest red flag. I'll tell y'all my biggest red flag here in a little while. But you know, Stefanie Damron, 13-year-old, 5 foot tall, 130 pounds, last seen wearing blue jeans, a long sleeve blue shirt, and Harley Davidson hiking boots. She evidently, Mama Lisa and Daddy had to run to town to do a job application, which I really didn't know they did paper applications anymore in 2024, but I guess so. Maybe in a small town they do. That's a very small town. 577 people is very, very small. But that's not really my red flags. My red flags are, well, hold on, let me finish. September 23rd, 2024. Mama Lisa and Daddy, right? Let me find it. Mama Lisa. Okay. Let's see. Went outside. Okay, so what happened was, evidently the mama left. But the reason I want to read this is because I think it's very, very, very important. Hold on, let me find it. It's about what she said, and it's going to ring a bell to y'all about Katie Proudfoot. Just wait. It's going to blow y'all's mind when I'm fixed to tell y'all. If y'all been following this case, it's really going to blow your mind. All right. Let's see. Where did I put that one? It must be on this one. Oh. I got her out here, guys. All right. Let me see. But remember, allegedly, these are my opinions, my theories, my thoughts, my speculation. My free speech, not to reflect the channel. Y'all's comments, y'all's and y'all's alone, not to reflect the channel. We do try to research together because we're a big-hearted little family. But okay, here we go. I knew I was going to find this. And trigger warning times 100 million. But justice is really, really needed for Stefanie Damron out of New Sweden, Maine. Off the grid living. They live off the grid, totally off the grid. The nearest store is like 3 miles. The main county road, there's like a mile through a bunch of thick brush or a road, a little like gravelish kind of road. You know, it's out in the neck of the woods, right? More rural than Sebastian, way more rural. Okay. And I'll get to my red flag, my main red flag, here in a little bit. I want to go over this first. But mother says they were getting ready to leave, right? And go to town. One of the mom things that mama said too was, she's a wonderful girl. That came from mom, right? Can't believe this is happening, okay? And another thing is, they haven't really helped with the searching at all. And another red flag, they waited almost 24 hours to report her missing. Nobody's going to do that. Unless you're Don Wells or Katie Proudfoot, right? Katie Proudfoot didn't even wait that long. All right, mom said the day was like no other. That her and daddy had left to go fill out applications, right? Paper applications, okay? She said they left home, and but before they left home, we've got to remember too that they have 6 children, 4 that live there, I believe, and 2 that are gone, maybe something like that. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But it's something like that. But she also didn't have a cell phone because, they're off the grid. Remember that. But evidently, Grandpa had an old phone, a flip phone that he let her use, like a $20 cheap flip phone. And where FBI says it was limited access to internet, the father is now saying she was talking to someone on there, which I haven't seen anybody, law enforcement, put that out, that she was communicating with anyone on a phone, who to be looking for, what car, what vehicle, none of that, okay? And I would expect to see that in that. But anyway, the FBI said limited access to internet, and nothing is off the table. What does that remind you of? Okay? So there was 4 kids out of the 6 that stayed home with Grandpa. Okay, I haven't really yet determined Grandpa, mom's dad, or dad's dad. I really don't know yet, because these kids are all homeschooled. They're truly off the grid, guys. Like, they don't go, there's nothing to really do in a town of 577 when it's all rural. There's nothing to do. Plus the weather, you're on the Canada border, crying out loud. Cold, 9-10 months out of the year. And you came from Texas up there. That's rough. But she said before they left that Stefanie walked up to her and gave her a big hug. She was giving me love, she said. A hug. She hugged me and told me she loved me, and she kissed me on the cheek. This is what Mom said. And then Mom said, I kissed her back. I told her I love her, and I'll be back. Then Mom started receiving text messages around 3 p.m. They still didn't state what time they left. Okay, they're leaving a lot of things out here. Where most would have said, okay, we left to go run in and do a job application real quick. It's 3 miles down the road to the nearest town, which is not far away. So why is she hugging and kissing you and all that when you're going right down the road? That makes no sense, for one. Plus, that's trying to show me, all that shows me is the same thing Katie Proudfoot did to show me by saying, he said, I love you, right? They need that, right? That's part of the guilt, I feel. And that's why I said these are my opinions. Take them as a grain of salt. But this is what this came out of the mother's mouth. She hugged me. She kissed me on the cheek. She told me she loved me. She gave me a big old squeezy hug. That's what Mommy said. So then Mommy says, of course, I kissed her back. I hugged her back. Told her Mommy would be right back. Okay? So if you're being right back, why did you start receiving text messages around 3 p.m.? I mean, if you're just going to do a job application, believe me, it don't take that long. If the town is right there and there's nothing else out there, but now if you had to go all the way to Canada to go apply for a job, that's one thing, but they didn't specify anything. That's what really bothers me, is that they didn't specify anything. And, she supposedly, the text message read, she went outside upset and ran away or whatever, right? Whatever their sibling told the mom. So the grandpa was outside working on the front door, the mother said, doing yard maintenance on the front door when she came out the house. He said she took off walking down the road and she looked back at him with tears in her eyes. This is what came from Grandpa. But mind you, the little argument was over the chores. Who was going to do what? Come on. That makes no sense. Come up with something better than that. And this road leads 1 mile down to the main paved road, which is like a little county road, right? And there's also a path through the woods that leads to this road. So she's very familiar with the area, the parents said. The mom did most of the talking in this one. And now the father's doing the talking because I guess the mother's being silent right now. You know, she's kind of doing what Katie's doing. But there was a couple of things that caught my eye because it says here that the grandpa was the only one outside, remember, working on the door. She came outside, looked back at him, and a short time after that, she says, they all heard what sounded like a car or a four-wheeler or a motorcycle, a vehicle. And then by the time they got down there to the end of the road, there was nothing there. Okay, now tell me this thing. 1 mile away, through the thickest damn woods you've ever seen, and you're telling me you're going to hear a vehicle stop on a little county road out there? No. Not no, but hell to the no. Okay? Makes no sense. And I would like to have heard that from the older siblings or the grandpa in this. I'd like them to have told this part of the story. The mom wasn't there. Why is she telling the story? Just like Chris wasn't there and Chris is telling the story. You see where I'm getting at? Okay. And I'm not saying anybody's guilty. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying what it looks like to me and by me breaking down what she said. What she simply said here was, I mean, this is what she said. These came out of her own mouth. And she said, shortly after, the family heard a car pass shortly afterwards. After Steph ran away, or whatever they call it, ran off into the woods, right? But if it's a mile, that's going to take her, what, 10, 12, 15 minutes in that thick, maybe 20 minutes in that thick brush to get to the road. So be more specific on us. Right after she walked off, you hear a vehicle, because she wouldn't have made it that far, that fast. And the house across the street, when you get to the main road, is abandoned. Nobody lives there. So there's nobody out there to justify their story. Zero. She's just saying it's either a four-wheeler or a motorcycle or a car, which those are all sound totally different. But anyway, especially from a mile away, you wouldn't hear it. You damn near hear a train from a mile away, much less a freaking car. I mean, the way that cars are nowadays, you don't hear cars running anymore. Shortly after hearing the cars, shortly after she ran off and they heard the cars, and whatever, I guess they run up to the road, whoever they are. I don't know if it's grandpa or if it's, because I guess they were all inside but magically came outside and heard this car. I don't know. But supposedly she came out the house. They were all in the house. That's how it was being told in the beginning, is that she walked out and left. And in the very beginning, never said nothing about grandpa being outside. It's kind of like added to, right? Kind of like Katie did, going with the public, like changing it according to what the public's saying to you. You get what I'm saying, right, guys? And the mom clearly stated she had done this before. 2 times before she had walked off like this, but the mom was always able to find her. Which is what she said. Or, so she was always home safe, I guess you can say. Then mom told Dateline 2 other times she had done this, but I was able to find her those times. This time I was not. But family reported her missing the next day. So like 24 hours passed before they reported this child missing. And they're trying to use that, well, you have to wait. No, you don't. Well, if you're truly a mother, and that child goes running off in them damn woods full of bears and everything like that on the Canadian border, you telling me you ain't going to call right away? BS, bullshit. I don't believe a damn word of it. Any mother, when they don't see their child, is going to panic. I mean, Nancy Grace, for crying out loud, shut down the whole damn mall for her child. In a matter of minutes, seconds responded. Told them, lock doors. That's what you do. I mean, there's no way this mother, I mean, and I'm getting to where my red flag's going to be. I'm sorry, I'm taking a bit, but I'm getting there. I want to break all this down for you first because I really am really stuck on this because canine dogs were brought in almost immediately. They didn't follow no trail. Here we go. Just like Sebastian Rogers, no trail, right? From what I've found and been able to find, the dogs picked up nothing. According to FBI, that phone had very limited access. They don't know if she was on it or not. They're not saying that she was on it. They've never come out and said that she was really on that talking to someone. They haven't done that. That's just the father's saying she was talking to someone online and they picked her up. This is what the father is saying. But he says it with no emotion, just like Chris Proudfoot. And this is the bio dad, from what I understand. But what really gets me is the MSP, which that's the police department, the Maine State Police, right? The Lieutenant Darren Crane, right, told Dateline that they searched extensively with canines and everything right off the bat, right? And I know some people have said, well, you waited a day, whatever, but the police can't help that the parents waited a day to report her missing, right? That's not their fault. So they can only do what they're called to do, right? And the FBI, as we know, is helping. Why? Why is the FBI helping? Just like why is the FBI helping in Sebastian Rogers? There's not very many cases that the FBI gets involved in missing kids cases, and especially very slim if they even put a reward. There's a $15,000 reward by the FBI for this girl. Okay? That's telling you something. That's smelling foul play to me. If they get involved, I'm sorry, I feel that it's foul play. Or they think that it was really a kidnapping and they took this girl across Canadian state lines. But I always go back to, when I'm talking to people, I don't do it really here, but if y'all remember when Hannah Kabachi went missing, and we all thought the worst, and what little did anybody know, that she had crossed that border into Mexico and was caught on camera. Remember, the cameras at these border places now are amazing. And so I think if she would have been taken across that border with the dogs and everything there, even if they'd have tried to hide her in the trunk, she'd have been found in that car. They'd have alerted. Them dogs would have alerted to a scent in that car. That's what they look for, smugglers. So I believe they're comfortable that she didn't get across that border. She was 20 miles from that border in the middle of nowhere. And there's nothing ever been before about a car or her online or her on phone or what, right? This is an old flip phone that didn't have phone service. So it was limited access to anything. They were homeschooled. Now, I know they probably had tablets and stuff for homeschool. So they're sure they had Wi-Fi because they were homeschooled. So they had to, right? Even though they're off the grid, they had some kind of satellite for Wi-Fi. But I'm sure it wasn't the greatest speed of Wi-Fi way out there. Probably HughesNet or one of those that reaches way out there like that. But one of the things that Mom said, I wish I knew, she said, I wish I knew to God where she's at, right? Because she would not be there. Okay, Mom says, I wish to God I knew where she was because she would not be there. Okay, then she says, I want her home. She would be at home with me, so I know she is safe. Is she safe at home with you because she ran off and you didn't turn around immediately and come back? And you waited 24 hours to freaking report her missing. So how much are you worried about her being safe, right? That's how I see it. And tell me something different. They waited 24 hours almost. And the biggest thing to me about the wait is it was like 41 or colder that night. No jacket, guys. What does that do to a child at 13? Hypothermia. It's just one of those. Did they let her go for a lesson? Did they teach her a lesson by leaving her out all night? Was that their plan? Hey, she keeps doing this. We're going to teach her a lesson and not let her in. Or we're not going to search for her. There's nobody to show proof that they searched for her. I don't see no videos being posted that they were searching for her. Hell, they didn't call for 24 hours. So what was it? Teach her a damn lesson. We're off the grid. She's going to have to learn to live out there in the woods. Is that what it was? And it went bad? And it took them that long to cover it up. Then they called it after they covered it up. I don't know, guys. I really can't say because I don't know. But I know we were secretly planning to go up there and search until now I find out that you got to have search warrants to search. But what really scares me is the Canadian border is only 20 miles away. And they had 24 hours. So if something happened in the middle of nowhere, if you don't go to a border point and you park somewhere in a really thick wooded area, you can walk across that Canadian border. And we know if they're doing searches, they're not going to go 20 miles. Right? They do good to go 5 miles. Because she was on foot. And FBI saying nothing's off the table. So they have a clear these parents. We got another Sebastian Rogers case on our hand. I'm sorry. And that's why I was just like, hell no, I'm making a video. This is not fair. Something's not adding up, right? Something is not adding up. But I don't know if she had really done this before. I don't know that. I know that they lived in Texas and recently moved up there. I guess the land, maybe they got a deal or got the land or it was family land or whatever it may be that they decided to go up there and live on the land. But that big red flag is how cold it got that night. They should have known better. And the same thing in Sebastian's case. It got cold that night, right? Yeah, this is crazy. This was September 23rd. And they reported her missing September 24th. So technically, 24-hour head start before they reported her missing. That's a long time. A lot can happen in 24 hours, guys. You know, she's 5 foot tall, I already said. She's 130 pounds. She has green eyes. She has a sandy brown blonde hair. She's now 14. She was 13. And the tip line is 1-800-924-2261 if you have any tips at all in this case. The thing that makes this case hard is it's just like Summer Wells. Why am I saying that? That's what you want to know. Because of the ruleness of it. There's no cameras. There's no stores everywhere. There's no traffic lights. There's none of that. Zero. But 3 miles down the road. And then if you go some of these other routes out of that place, there's no roads. I mean, there's no towns. There's no stores. Some of those roads you can take. Scary. I mean, Canada border, like I said, less than 20 miles, guys. That's close. She, like I already said what she had on, right? Yeah, blue jeans, the long sleeve blue shirt, and the Harley Davidson black hiking boots. That's not enough to protect you in 40-degree weather. It's not. Now, it was prettier during the day, but it got cold at night, right? Like it's doing here. It's beautiful during the day, but we're getting in 39, 40 at night. That's cold. You can't stay out in it all night. You would catch hypothermia. But, you know, Mama is Lisa Darman, right? And she's saying, and this is going to ring a bell to y'all too. I know it is, because you're going to be like, that's what Katie said. I just want to know where my baby is. I just want my baby home. Right? And, you know, New Sweden area, that's a little bitty rural area. Like I said, there's nothing really out there. And Mama's saying she's a wonderful girl. That really bothered me, because right now when your child is missing, you're not thinking about any of that stuff. All you should be focusing on is she likes to do this. This is her favorite color. This is her favorite food. This is, these are people that she knows. This is, what you might expect. This is what you might see how she acts. Please don't run up to her. Just holler her name. Like, tell us something. Don't tell us nothing. and help with the searching. And we got another set of parents that don't want to search. And y'all wonder why red flags fly. It sounds to me like some of the way that they tell their story, it's a lot like Summer Wells' story. It really is, guys. Only they're using this cell phone, this old antique flip phone with no service, but was connected. I don't even know if flip phones get online, and they might. You might can get on the internet with flip phone. I don't really know that. It's been so long, I can't really tell you. And I'm sure you probably can play games or whatever, but I don't know if you can message on Wi-Fi on a flip phone. I think it has to be like a smartphone, but and that's why they said her limited access. Now, if she had internet and she could get internet on that phone, then yeah, she could get online. But if they're doing homeschool, I would think they would be kind of on that school block guideline, but maybe not. I don't know. One of the things that really got me, I'm trying to find it here, and I don't know if I brought that paper with me, but one of the questions I was asking myself was, would you leave your child out in the cold, right? That reminds me of the Karen Reed case. How long to, pass in the cold, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is, why would you leave your child in that temperature? Why wouldn't you have called that night and be like, oh my God, I need help. She's going to freeze out here. Are you kidding me? Like, they know more. I'm sorry. They know way more. She's been missing for like 150 something days, I think, since September 23rd. I know they're saying reported on the 24th, but everybody else is going by 23rd because that's when she walked off of that camera on the house, which explains to me that they probably do have Wi-Fi. They have cameras, but they have to have. And I'm guessing that one of the parents, the mom we know has a cell phone because she was getting messaged. So somebody in that house has a cell phone to message her on. So I don't know if they're just trying to say she had limited access and it was on this old phone because they didn't want them to know what phone she really had. I don't know. Maybe they gave this girl all the free range she wanted. I don't know. And they came back and bit them in the butt. I don't know. Am I saying that she didn't meet somebody? No, she could have met somebody. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is their shit ain't adding up. That's what I'm saying. And they're not searching. And they're not begging. And they're not pleading. And they're not thanking the FBI for the reward for their child. They're not. The FBI and the MSP police, their Maine State Police, are saying nothing's off the table. Everything's being looked at, whether this child ran away or whether something else happened. Foul play's not being ruled out. It's the same scenario as Sebastian's, what I'm trying to get at. So that's why I'm saying we have another one on our hands now. And I can almost bet you now, with this stuff breaking today and yesterday, that this is going to become one of the next big cases. And I hope it does, because I feel it's not adding up. And I think this one actually might be a little easier to solve. Especially with some of their stories. Some of the things in their stories that you can poke holes in just by looking at it. And Dateline put out a thing, and I didn't have a chance to watch it, but I did read through it. And I took a few notes out of that Dateline. That's how I knew what they were saying and all those things. But, being off the grid like that, you're secluded. And if she's ran off before and always been brought back home, then that's telling me one thing. She's not planning or communicating with somebody she wants to leave with. She's just walking off because she's upset, and that's her way of clearing her head. But why is she so upset? To do this 3 times. Because 2 prior. But none of the other kids are doing it. Out of 6. You get me? Why is she the only one? Something's going on in that household. Somewhere. I don't think it was sister that made her run off. We don't know that. We can only go by what they tell us because they don't have, I guess, inside cameras. So they can't really tell what's going on. Evidently, all they've seen is her coming, I guess, once she gets a little past the front door going out, I guess they saw her walk down and then walk into the brush. And then the parents, kept doing what she said. Well, then she kind of changed the story, said she came straight home or something like, it's just not adding up. And it's hard to get information when they tell one place this thing and they tell one place, like Katie did. Their stories keep bouncing. It's hard to really vet it or vet what they said because their stories are changing. And then everybody trying to get a big search thing together for this young girl because we all have hearts and want to search for her. Then we're being told now, in the last 48 hours or so, that he wants search warrants now if you're going to search his property. Why? Like, are you really want to make yourself look more guilty? Like, in a missing child's case, that's been 150 something days, or maybe almost 160 by now, but you're telling me that you're not going to allow them to search? When FBI's put out a reward for your child, everybody's been trying to help you find your child, and now you want to tell them they can't search. Why? Because you never searched. And a lot of people have said, a lot of locals, which not a lot of them, but the ones that came out to help, clearly said they didn't really search. So I don't know if that means they just kind of were there but didn't really walk off in the woods or what. But what do we always say? You don't search for something where you know where it is, right? That's kind of why we always say Chris and Katie never search, because they know where he is, and I still believe that. Just like I'm starting to believe that in this case. And I don't like to really necessarily jump against the family. It's hard to do, right? They came from my state, but when the red flags are the red flags, and when they're there, they're there. And when you see more than 5 or 10 of them in the first paragraph, you're like, okay, something's not right. They left this child out in the cold. They waited 24 hours. Hell, that was enough already for me to go, bing, bing. Okay, foul play, right? I think anybody with common sense, you don't leave your child out there in that cold weather like that. And it's like when they started getting the help, they shut it down. Right? Like they act like they want help, and then when you try to give it and people reach out and say, okay, we're putting a team together, we're going to come search, and they shut them down. Right? That really upsets me. Because when people invest their time and energy and money into putting something together and then you do that to them, it's not right. And I mean, this is what's out there. Being put out there is that he's now saying no searching on his property. I mean, I don't know. I'm still digging. I'm trying. I mean, a lot of this stuff some of this I just got today. And some of it I got a couple of weeks ago, about a week ago. And I just really been trying to make sure before I did this that it was, I didn't want to come out here and try to throw shade at anybody and then me be totally wrong, right? That's why I kind of wanted to make sure I got the correct information and look at what FBI was putting out, look at what their spokesperson was saying that's on the case, and compare what I'm hearing over here and getting emails for or replies to from emails I had sent to people up there that were helping with the search, and I want to know what's going on, right? So I reach out to them and say, hey, any progress on the search team? Is it going to get to happen? Is it going to, is the weather going to prevail for us? Is this and that going to happen? And then I'm being told that he won't allow nobody to search now without a search warrant. I mean, all he's going to do is make FBI get a search warrant, right? I mean, you go ahead and do that. But then, I mean, when your door ends up kicked in like Brian Koberger, then, you realize why, right? But, and I'm wondering also, if it was warm that day and they were in the house, what kids wear blue jeans, Doc Martin boots, Harley Davidson black hiking boots, and a long sleeve shirt if they're inside? That don't make no sense. If you're homesteaders, you're wearing something comfortable. You don't have nowhere to go. I mean, she says we went looking for her and stuff. Just the way she says things. We went looking for her and stuff, and we couldn't find her. Just the way that she words some of her stuff. I want y'all to go back and read a few of her statements. It's really going to blow your mind. Y'all are going to be like, holy cow, another Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. That's exactly what y'all are going to say, I'm telling you. So I wanted to come on tonight and really spread awareness for this young girl, because I feel like this angel did not deserve whatever this was. I don't feel in my heart. I mean, yes, I'd say 10 or 15% right now until I get a little more information. There's a possibility that she could have met somebody, but she'd have had a long way to walk, or they'd have had to know exactly where to come. And when you're at that rural out in the middle of nowhere, I'm not saying that a perpetrator wouldn't drive a long way to steal a child. They would. And it's what's sick about them is they would do that stuff. Trigger warning. And so that we have to think about that. But guys, it's not adding up. And we're going to keep digging. We're going to see if we can't figure something out on this. I got a few things in the works and see what we can figure out. But the red flags are flying. Go listen to that dad talking. He doesn't act one bit of empathy. Just like Christopher Proudfoot. Maybe a little worse almost. He got his mind made up. And why? Is that it sounds like it's a plan to me because he's consistent with what he's saying, but he's basically saying she was talking to somebody on this phone that it's supposedly a 1980 or something like that, I guess the way he's explaining the flip phone, and it doesn't really have good access. So how is she communicating with someone, and why didn't she leave before? If she was communicating with someone on this phone that was her grandpa's or whatever, right? If they have the phone, why hasn't FBI said yes? They would have confirmed that. Yes, this child was speaking to someone on this phone, right? You would think they would have put that out after 150 days. They're asking, go read every article they've put out. Asking for the public's help, asking for the public's help, asking for the public's help. They don't have squat, I think, because they only have what the parents are telling them. And it's led them nowhere. It's led them to no answers. So what happens is, when what the parents are telling you leads you to no answers, what do you think happens? They realize that evidently it's not adding up. And I'm sure they've known that probably in the first 5 days. Just like in the Sebastian case. We know they knew something right away because the landfill was searched right away. And then the big push was done. We know they knew something and they found something out. And the stories weren't adding up. Inconsistencies is what makes them do these things. So to me, for the FBI card team and all these other ones to be involved, and then for them to smack a reward on her case, after about a month or two, when that reward came out, everybody's like, whoa. Because FBI usually doesn't do that. They did it for Sebastian Rogers, and then they did it for Stefanie Damron. So it tells you that they got something somewhere. It's probably not enough yet, but they do have something. Because he said, we have not really formed our opinion yet. So it tells me that they're still looking at all of the angles. We know that they've taken some of the computers out of the home, or some kind of electronics they've taken, which are probably going to be the school computers or whatever they're homeschooling on, right? It's probably going to be what they're taking out. And so, hold on, I want to knock this over. But I want to get y'all some firewood going. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I want to get y'all some firewood. We get a fire going. It's good, but it's just not high tonight. It's not big. I didn't have I need to cut some more lumber. I've been so swamp busy, guys. But I wanted to come on and spread awareness for Stefanie. I feel like this is another case we're going to have to get on it. And it's been 160 days. That's not quite half a year. It's still early enough that we need to start digging and pushing, guys. I need y'all to help me dig on this case. Y'all always asking me, I need y'all to help me dig on this case. This case is not making big headlines, and it needs to be. This is a 13-year-old child that turned 14 since she's been missing. And even law enforcement hasn't cleared the parents yet. And I don't think they're buying their story either. And we've had more updates in the Sebastian Rogers case than we have in this case. And I wouldn't say that there's been very many in the Sebastian case. But over here, there's nothing. I mean, literally, not much. They're keeping everything so tight-lipped. And that really makes me think they got at least halfway figured out, if not more, maybe. Because I think the first thing they did was go to all those cameras in that Canadian border. Because if you're going to drive a car across that border, you're going to have to go to a point, which means you're going to be checked. So, especially if you're going to try to steal a child through there. And then, I don't know if I think they do ask for some form of ID from everyone in the car. I believe when you go into Canada, that's what they do, because it's pretty strict there. I believe that's what happened to us and to going to Alaska. I think that, yes, they did. They asked for everyone's ID. That's right, our passports, everyone. So yeah, if he'd have tried to put a child in the trunk, they would have caught it. The dogs would have most likely hit on the car really quickly. And I don't know. I'm sure that they've gone over those cameras just like they did when the Hannah Kabasi was missing and they found her on camera. I think they would have caught him if somebody would have tried to take her into Canada, and that's why I don't think they're really pushing that theory. I think that they feel it's foul play, and it's most likely probably a criminal investigation, but they don't want to come out and say it yet, but they're not ruling out foul play, and he's saying everything is on the table. Nothing's off the table. Sounds just like the other case we're on. And I got 2 Sebastian videos loaded from today that I'm going to load. And I'm going to try to do a couple more tonight. This is the first one, and I didn't really know I was going to go this long, but I got y'all going. And y'all got me going on this. So, any kind of awareness is always wonderful. So let's keep Stefanie's name out there. Let's spread her face again. Let's push this case. Please help me. Push it to everybody y'all know. Push the case, please. We need to put this child in the forefront. We need to. Because I don't feel that something is right, and I think justice needs to be done. I don't think she's far from that home, if you want to know my honest opinion. And I think this might have been to teach her a lesson type thing, and it backfired. And that's why they waited 24 hours to call, because they had to cover it up first. And I could be totally wrong. And if I am, I'm sorry if I'm wrong. But I don't think I am. I think if anybody with half common sense would look at this and look what this mother put and look how she wrote it and how the things were said about the hugging and the kissing and all this before she left, and she came running up to me and gave me hugs and kisses, and I kissed her back, and I love you, and I'll be right back. Those are signs of guilt. I need to be a perfect mother. But yet we're living off the grid. They have no friends. They're homeschooled. They have no social media, according to the parents. Not supposed to have any social media. They have none of that. Well, if you're telling me they have none of that, then how was she doing it? I mean, you're contradicting your own words. And that's her dad's words. Go listen to him talk. It's going to blow your mind. He has not one shred of concern on his face. And he has it's pinned down like Chris Proudfoot. What happened? Boom, 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 boom. This is what happened. Like, he walked out that door, right? I don't know why he walked out the door. What they're saying is she was talking to somebody on the phone and they picked her up. That's it. That's what he's saying. He said, that's where we're at. Oh, that's where you're at? Like, you're doing the investigation? That's where you're at? That's all you've got for your daughter? Oh, yep. That's exactly how he said it. No concern, no crying. Oh, my God, somebody's got my baby. Please give her back. None of that shit. To make it make sense. Anyway, before I get angry, I'm just going to say good night. And we're going to keep spreading her face once a week at least. We might go to twice a week. Hell, I might go to 5 days a week. We got to get her face out there. Let's do it. Let's push it. Everybody, please help. Step it up. Let's push her face hard. Let's push it out there like we're doing Sebastian. And let's start pushing Summer out there again. Let's bring it. Let's put him back in the spotlight. Maddie Soto. Let's put him back in the spotlight. I was going to do Maddie's birthday tonight, but since it's still 39, I was worried because we had some sun, but then it got cloudy. Thank God it hasn't started. I don't know. And it's really dark clouds. Seen some lighting back over there, but it hasn't been raining yet. So I was like, man, if I set all them banners up, birthday banners up and balloons, for one, you see that wind? The balloons would have been gone. So I really want it to be pretty when I do it. I mean, at least I did the little one that night, but I have something really planned for her birthday. But I want it to look good. I need to do it right before dark so y'all can see everything. But I did have, you see her little spinner. Remember those little things that blow in the wind that spin with all the colors? Y'all see the wheel up there? I got a bunch of those for her birthday, but I was going to set them out the other day, and then it started raining, so I moved a lot of them out of here so it wouldn't get wet, but I forgot about that one. But I got a bunch of those that spin that had the balloons tied to. And we'll do that hopefully tomorrow to be pretty. Anyway, I go off Wednesday, so it might have to be Wednesday afternoon when I know I don't have anything to do. because sometimes, like last night, I get called in again. And I did a couple videos on break today for Sebastian, because I was really having a bad day on that case, because I was looking at things and I came up with some really crazy. Some of my stuff finally matched together, and I was able to sit back and look at it and go, "Oh my God, I painted a picture, right?" And I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it. I'll wait, and I'll post it here in a little while. I'll load it here in a little bit, and y'all can see it. But anyway, guys, let's keep our prayers up for Stefanie Damron, and please, y'all give me y'all's opinion, please. I'm asking y'all this time. I want y'all's opinion on this case. But go watch that last thing that the daddy talks about. And he's in a camouflage jacket, and he's sitting up there in his chair, and he's talking straight at the camera, like all cocky and all, "I know what I'm talking about. I know what happened." How do you know? And the mom is over here, total opposite. "I just want my baby back, Dad." But yet you didn't come rescue your baby, and you waited 24 hours to call your baby reporter missing. How do you do these things? How do you leave your child in the cold? I don't get it. What's wrong with these parents? Step up to the plate. You got 6 kids. I mean, gosh, kind of like I think about Katie. Think about it this way. One thing I'm going to say about Sebastian, I don't mean to change stuff, but one thing I'm going to say. Remember, she had 2 abortions. Seth, they already confirmed she had 2. Even the guy that got hired said the same thing, right? But he kind of made it sound like they were Seth kids. But anyway, she had 2. And then at the same time, these 2 were hooking up back December of 15, I think, when they started hooking up on base together. He's asking Nina to do the same thing Katie did twice. That would have been 3 of them. Anyway, that's in the video. Y'all catch that later when I drop it and load it. It's already loaded. I just haven't posted it yet. I was waiting because it's kind of, it was a lot of my heart spilled out in it. And I didn't know if I really wanted to post it yet, but I did 2 of them. But I'll get it out to y'all guys. Anyway, prayers for Stefanie. Prayers for all the missing, all the runaways. They run for a reason. If this girl did run, I feel it was for a reason. Especially if Grandpa's right and she had tears in her eyes. Something wasn't right when she left that home. And maybe she knew she wasn't coming back, but not in a way if she was meeting someone. Maybe something else happened. Maybe it wasn't a fight over chores. I don't know. I don't know who was home. I don't know who wasn't. Evidently, they're not saying anything else. Only 2 that are saying anything is Mommy and him, and they're not saying that much, and they're not searching. And now they shut all the searching down, so because you need a warrant now or something. I don't know. I'm gonna dig more and see what I can find. And we'll get everything together and come back on. But anyway, spread awareness for her. Please spread her face. Spread all their faces. Prayers always, guys. Y'all have a good night. We love y'all guys, and we'll talk to you on the next. Remember, allegedly, these are my opinions. This is my free speech. This is what I think happened in this case, and I feel that it deserves a lot of attention. Because I think there's going to be a lot that's going to come out of this that's going to blow people's minds. And I'm sorry, but I feel that I think this was something that happened. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't leave her out as punishment and she'd get too cold out there. I don't know that. I can't say for sure she didn't get in somebody's car. I don't know that either. All I can say is what they're saying does not make sense. And it sounds like another Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case to me. With the same letter to start the name. Stephanie's an S too. It's a lot of the same. Go listen. You see what I'm talking about. I want y'all to really check this one out because I know a lot of y'all like to dig. So go please dig for me and let me know. All right, guys. We'll talk to y'all next one. Be good. Be safe. We love y'all. We'll talk soon. All right, guys. All right, bye.